Jack Dalton was supposed to be dead. Everyone said so. They had his name carved on a cold stone in a military cemetery back home, and the news said he died in Kandahar. His family, friends, and even strangers had accepted it. But one chilly evening, 6 years after the world wrote him off, Jack quietly walked into a small diner in Wyoming. He wasn't the same man who left for war. He was tired, worn, and carrying nothing but a duffel bag and a single letter. The letter was old, the paper yellowed, and the handwriting shaky. It wasn't from his family or old friends. It was from a woman named Claire Reynolds, a name he didn't recognize right away. The letter said she needed to see him and that, if he was reading it, it meant he was alive. That letter hit Jack hard. Memories of Afghanistan came rushing back. Gunfire, sandstorms, the screams of friends, but no memory of Claire. Yet something deep inside told him this letter wasn't a mistake or a cruel joke. It was a calling. He followed the letter's clues to a small town near Missoula, Montana. The town was quiet, with tree-lined streets and friendly faces. Jack wasn't used to quiet. He found Claire working in the local library, her hands busy with books, her eyes scanning pages. When she looked up and saw him, her face changed. Her breath caught, and for a moment, she was frozen in place. "Jack," she whispered, almost like saying a prayer. Jack felt a strange pull in his chest and asked if they knew each other. Claire's eyes filled with tears as she told him she hoped he didn't remember. She said she was a war nurse in Afghanistan, and that he had saved her life during an attack. She told him she was trapped in a burning vehicle, and Jack had pulled her out just before it exploded. He had no memory of this moment, but she remembered every detail. Jack couldn't believe it. How could someone so important to his survival be a stranger to him? Claire explained that after the blast, Jack suffered memory loss. He didn't remember the people he met or the moments that saved their lives. Claire had never told anyone about him or her story because it was dangerous, and because she thought he was gone forever. But now, seeing him in front of her, alive and confused, stirred feelings she buried deep inside. Jack stayed with her. Something about Claire's eyes, the way she looked at him as if he mattered, pulled him in. For the first time in years, Jack felt something more than pain and loss. He felt hope. The two began to rebuild what war had torn apart. Jack helped fix Claire's porch, and she taught him how to use a computer in the library. They shared cups of tea late at night and laughed softly at old stories, though Jack often kept his pain locked away. Claire didn't push. She understood the silence that followed a soldier home. But beneath her calm, she hid a secret. Locked drawers, restless nights filled with bad dreams, and the feeling that someone was watching. One night, Jack caught a shadow outside. A man with cold eyes and a dangerous smile. Claire's secret spilled out like a storm. She wasn't just a nurse. She was part of a secret team treating prisoners in a hidden war. A war that wasn't talked about. A war that made her a target. Jack listened, stunned. This quiet woman, who seemed so fragile, held more danger and courage than he had imagined. Claire's past wasn't just a story of pain. It was a story of betrayal, of survival, and of a secret that could destroy them both. But even with that truth hanging between them, Jack didn't walk away. He stayed, ready to face whatever came next with the woman who had saved his life, and now needed him to save hers. Days turned into weeks, and Jack found himself slipping into the slow rhythm of small-town life with Claire. There was something comforting about waking up to the quiet hum of birds and the gentle rustling of trees, a far cry from the noise and danger he had left behind. Together, they worked on small projects. Jack fixed the loose boards on Claire's porch while she smiled at him from the doorway. He helped her organize books and fix old computers at the library, tasks that felt strange after years in the army, but somehow peaceful now. Their time was filled with simple moments: late-night tea, quiet conversations, and easy laughter. Jack felt a strange warmth growing inside, a feeling he hadn't known since before the war. Claire's presence was like a balm on old wounds, but beneath the calm surface, Jack sensed something unspoken. There were locked drawers in Claire's home, a place she wouldn't let him enter. She woke in the night, trembling, haunted by nightmares that left her gasping for breath. Once, Jack spotted a man watching their house from across the street. He disappeared before Jack could confront him. It was clear Claire was hiding something, a secret heavier than the small town's peaceful facade. One quiet evening, Claire finally opened up. She told Jack that her work as a nurse was not just about healing wounds, but about secrets and danger. She had been part of a covert medical team during the war, treating prisoners who were hidden from the world, people no one was supposed to know existed. These prisoners were caught in a shadow war, and Claire's job was more than medical care. It was survival in a dangerous game of secrets. Jack listened, stunned. He could barely believe the woman he thought he was getting to know had a past so tangled with lies and danger. Claire confessed that she was being hunted, that her life was in danger because of what she knew and who she had helped. Jack's protective instincts kicked in. He realized this quiet woman, who smiled so gently and seemed so fragile, was braver than anyone he'd ever met. Trying to escape the weight of the past, Jack and Claire decided to take a break from their quiet life. One weekend, they went into town, enjoying the fresh air and the simple joy of being together. Claire wore a bright red coat that caught Jack's eye. She looked beautiful and alive, and for a moment, Jack thought they could forget the danger lurking around them. But their peace shattered the moment they stepped into a local bar. The room was filled with laughter and the clink of glasses, but all of that froze when a man standing near the pool table stood up. His posture was stiff, his eyes cold and sharp, like a soldier's. The man's voice cut through the noise. "You're Dalton, huh? Didn't think ghosts walked into bars." Jack's body tensed, every instinct screaming danger. Claire moved quickly behind him, whispering that the man was Cutter, a CIA agent connected to her past. Cutter's smile was cruel and knowing. He told Claire she had said too much and warned Jack to back off. Jack didn't hesitate. Years of training and survival instincts took over. Without thinking twice, he punched Cutter hard, the impact echoing through the bar. The fight was sudden and fierce. Jack grabbed Cutter by the collar and slammed him into the bar, warning him in a low, dangerous voice to stay away from Claire. But Cutter only smiled, his words cutting deeper than his fists. He accused Claire of betrayal, saying she was the reason Jack's unit had been ambushed years ago. The claim hit Jack like a punch to the chest. Was it true? Was Claire the reason? His comrades had died? The room seemed to close in around them, the noise fading to a low hum. Jack stared at Cutter, searching for truth in his cold eyes, while Claire stood silent, her face pale. The man's words planted a seed of doubt and pain, shaking the fragile trust between Jack and Claire. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. His mind was a storm of questions and confusion. How could someone he cared for be connected to such a betrayal? And if it was true, how could he face her again? But something deep inside whispered that the truth was more complicated than Cutter made it seem. Claire's past was a maze of secrets, lies, and survival. And Jack knew this was only the beginning of a story much darker than he had imagined. Jack's world felt shattered. The night in the bar had cracked the fragile bond between him and Claire. He couldn't stop thinking about Cutter's words, that Claire might have betrayed his unit, the same unit where so many of his brothers had died. Yet when he looked at Claire, he saw nothing but pain and fear. She wasn't the cold person Cutter described. She was real, vulnerable, and fighting her own battles. Jack knew he couldn't run from the truth. but he also knew he had to find it himself. He decided to dig deeper, to learn what really happened all those years ago. Claire, too, was haunted by the past. She never wanted to tell Jack everything, afraid it would push him away forever. But now, she had no choice. She took him to a hidden safe house on the edge of town, an old cabin surrounded by pine trees. Inside, walls were covered with papers, photos, and maps, evidence of a secret mission no one was supposed to know about. Claire explained that years ago, during their mission in Afghanistan, she had been forced to choose between loyalty to her team and protecting innocent lives caught in the crossfire. Cutter and others in the agency had twisted the truth to save themselves and blamed her for a failed operation that cost lives. Claire's betrayal was really a cover-up by those who feared the truth. Jack listened, his anger slowly turning into understanding. The two knew they had to confront Cutter and clear Claire's name. It was dangerous, but Jack was done hiding. Together, they prepared for what could be their last fight. Jack contacted an old army friend for help, and Claire reached out to someone she trusted from her secret team. The plan was to expose the lies Cutter and his group had told, but Cutter wasn't going to give up easily. One dark night, as rain poured and lightning cracked the sky, Cutter made his move. He appeared at Claire's cabin, surrounded by men armed and ready. Jack and Claire were outnumbered but not defeated. The tension was thick, like a storm ready to break. Jack grabbed a heavy metal rod from the fireplace, while Claire locked the doors behind them. Cutter sneered and demanded Claire's surrender, but Jack stepped forward with steady eyes. "You don't get to decide our fate," Jack said. The fight was brutal and fast. Jack's soldier instincts kicked in as he blocked blows and threw punches, trying to protect Claire. Claire used her knowledge of the cabin's secret passages to confuse their attackers. At one point, Jack was pinned against the wall, but Claire found a hidden weapon, a small flare gun, and fired it. The bright flare lit up the room and startled Cutter's men. That moment gave Jack the opening he needed to overpower Cutter and force him out. After the fight, the police arrived, tipped off by Jack's army friend. Cutter and his men were arrested for corruption and conspiracy. The truth came out slowly but surely. Claire had not betrayed anyone. Instead, she had been a hero who tried to save lives and expose corruption in a war that many wanted to forget. Jack and Claire sat outside the cabin as dawn broke. The sky was soft pink and orange, promising a new day. For the first time in a long while, Jack smiled fully, not just with his mouth but with his heart. Claire reached for his hand, and they sat together in silence, sharing a peace that only comes after surviving a storm. Jack realized that love wasn't just about good times or easy days. It was about standing together when the world tried to tear you apart. Claire taught him that secrets don't have to be a prison. They can be a path to trust if you face them honestly. And for Claire, Jack was more than a soldier. He was her strength, her hope, and her reason to believe in a future beyond the shadows. Their story was proof that even in a world full of lies and betrayal, real love could survive. It could heal wounds deeper than bullets and bring light to the darkest nights. Jack and Claire knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but they were ready to walk it together, stronger, wiser, and unbroken.